Hello, humans. This is Brandon with episode 49 of Not a Robot Podcast's DC Comics Review Show, the world's greatest podcast about the world's greatest heroes. They keep coming back, so I'll introduce them. As always, I've got my amazing co-host here with me, Rob.
Life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
Always good advice. And Josh.
Hello, humans.
This week, we'll be covering Infinite Frontier Secret Files number 6, Catwoman Annual number 1, Teen Titans Academy Yearbook number 1, and the Green Arrow 80th Anniversary 100-page Super Special Spectacular number 1. Before we get going, I just want to say thank you to all of our Patreon supporters who help out with $1 or more a month. And thank you listeners too. Like, download, and share episodes so we get more listeners and can bring you more content. You can access our Patreon and the rest of the Not a Robot Podcast shows at notarobotpodcast.com. But before we get into our books for this week, what's new with you guys?
Oh, not a whole lot, man. I've just been chilling out at the house.
Buses suck. That's all I can say.
I did see that Bruno Redondo has redesigned Batgirl's costume, and it looks like a tactical version of her Burnside costume.
Very cool.
I like it. I think it looks interesting. I wasn't a big fan of her Burnside costume because I thought it was too, store-bought for somebody that's been being a superhero for so many years. But this new one looks interesting.
Yeah, I think so anyway.
Yeah, I think it's a good redesign.
Other than that, man, I haven't had a chance to check any news this week. I've been a little laid up. So, are you guys aware of anything going on newsworthy in the comic world?
I did see today, or I think we posted yesterday, we got our first look at interior art for Superman and the Authority, and as expected, it looks gorgeous.
Oh, yeah, I haven't checked that out, but I'm definitely pretty excited for it, so.
Oh, remind me, who's drawing that?
Mikhail Yanin.
Ooh, my goodness.
It's gonna be good.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
He's awesome. Oh, I do have one bit of news. One thing. We had some really kick-ass episodes celebrating Pride Month, and turns out that people liked that, and we've been getting contacted for more reviews from our Pride Network here, so that's going to happen later on. Keep an eye out for that. We'll announce it ahead of time. But because of the Pride thing, my wife was on both shows, DC and Marvel. They were great shows, like I said, but I'm mad at them. Up until now, my wife has been exclusively DC, mostly Sandman universe comic reader.
Mm-hmm.
And she came out and she goes, gulp, I think I kind of like Marvel. I said, get out of my room. Get out of my room.
I'm going to be honest with you. I'm a DC fan for life, but the Marvel Pride book was just much better laid out. It had more information, and the stories were a bit more fun. So I kind of don't blame her.
Yeah. I know that there's a disturbance in the force. That's all I know.
There was one more thing, and it's kind of spoilery, but there was a leak for the Flash movie coming out, I think, next year, and it just kind of blew up on the internet a couple of days ago, and we got some shots at behind the scenes, like concept art and behind the scenes shots, but it was laid out like it was like a featurette or a trailer or something, so it's kind of weird that it was a leak. I don't know. There's a lot of characters that we had, like there was shots of characters that were even just covered up because even the leakers didn't want us to see it yet.
Mm-hmm.
So there's going to be some exciting shit happening in this
Very
movie.
cool.
Hell yeah. I'm holding out hope that Ben Affleck shows up in the movie. I mean, we know Michael Keaton is, and from what I understand, he's got multi-picture deals going on as Batman.
That's what's being said, yeah. But then there was a whole bunch of discussion of if he was actually considering it or not, because he's getting on in years. Yeah, it's kind of back and forth. I don't know. Ben Affleck is heavily rumored, though.
Yeah, I do hope he's in there. I'll be disappointed if he's not. But I guess that's about it for news, huh?
Yeah, that's sounds like that's it.
Comic books then?
Yeah, let's get into the books for this week.
Brandon, you sound tired as hell, man. What's
Really?
going on?
Oh yeah. No, I'm good. I just this is embarrassing. Yesterday was my birthday, so
Oh, happy birthday,
Hey,
thank
man.
you.
birthday.
Yeah. So a couple of friends and I were shall I say partaking in some fun activities. So I'm a little tired. But
All right.
I'll soldier on.
As is to happen. Man.
Yeah, yeah. But anyway, let's get into our books for this week. So first up, we have Infinite Frontier Secret Files number 6. This was a story from Joshua Williamson and Dan Waters, with a script by Dan Waters, art from Christopher Mitten, colors from Dave Stewart, letters from Tom Napolitano. So Director Bones is listening to his last tape, which just begins with a horrible screeching noise. We follow up with a tale about a man seeking out the Psycho Pirate for advice and power. The Psycho Pirate asks him some riddles, 3, and the man is able to answer 2 out of 3, which isn't bad, before screwing up the last answer by monologuing. The Psycho Pirate calls him out on it and completely shatters his perception of reality, who shortly after gets his own perception of reality shattered by another more ominous figure that I won't spoil. But if you've read Infinite Frontier number 0 and number 1, you probably know who I'm talking about. We go back to Bones, who realizes that with all this craziness going on, he needs to bring in Agent Chase before things get out of hand, which leads directly into Infinite Frontier number 1. So I think this was a really solid way to end this little series of Secret Files, and still excited to see what's to come in Infinite Frontier.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Mhm.
I'm not a big fan of the implementation, but the way the style of the art worked really good for the book.
Oh, yeah.
And okay, I've been thinking this since King's Batman. This dude needs a glam up. His tired ass costume is really, really bad.
Ugh.
And well, a runway mystery character is about to give him his makeover, it sounds like. So I'm looking forward to seeing what that is, what it looks like, and what that means for Psycho Pirate. Hopefully he even gets a better name. That would be great. I assume he won't continue being the blundering bad guy that he is today. I liked it, man.
Well, I'd hardly call him blundering after this issue, but
Well, yeah, not after this issue. Well, I mean, historically speaking, he's got amazing power. He could do just about, and accomplish just about anything, and he always messes up.
Mhm.
But yeah, man, I like this one. I'm excited for where it's gonna go, and it got an 8 out of 10 for me.
Nice. Yeah, I gave this one an 8 out of 10 as well.
Yeah, I love Psycho Pirate. He's one of my favorite. I don't know if you call him a B-list villain, but I kind of would because he's not
Yeah.
really around much. But he's up there for my B-list, and this has just been interesting, and that reveal, which we will not talk about, is just exciting.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
the
for
sh-
sure.
I'm glad Brandon read that review because I would have spoiled it.
Well, I mean, if you've already read Infinite Frontier number 0 and number 1, like you already know, so it's not like at this
Pretty
point.
good idea.
Yeah, it's should be pretty obvious, but
but
good
the
stuff.
way they did it, I thought was brilliant.
Oh yeah, really cool,
Yeah, this one was an 8.5 for me.
awesome.
Heck yeah.
All right, next up we have the Catwoman Annual number 1, and Rob will tell us all about that. So get us up to speed, man.
Great. So we got on writing duties is Ram V, with art by Fernando Blanco, Kyle Hotz, and Juan Ferreira, with colors by David Barron and letters from Tom Napolitano. The Catwoman discovers Leo has been attacked by Father Valley. In a rage, she vows to get revenge. Meanwhile, Valley is preparing himself for battle. He reminisces about his origins during this. Then he was known as Carl Waziman. As a child, he was saved by Ludovic Valley, the father of Jean-Paul Valley. During this time, the Order of St. Dumas was being spied on by world governments and was at risk of exposure and decimation. The leader of the order ordered The leader of the Order of St. Dumas ordered Ludovic to burn down the forest, which means to kill off the order save a few inner circle members. He is resistant but follows through. When it's Karl's time, Karl resists and escapes Ludovic's punishment by jumping from the tower they were on. He survives and uses the pain he suffered as an awakening to his new persona. Months later, Ludovic finds the mole that exposed the order, but before he can strike, he finds Karl had already killed him. Ludovic reveals he already knew this fact and came with a new identity for Karl to escape the order once and for all. Karl accepts and begins his new life as Karl Valley. Back in the present, the police situation in Alleytown escalates, and during the massive protests, Father Valley detonates a bomb, exploding the church that's all around the citizens. I cannot wait for this final battle they're building up. It's going to be so bloody.
Oh man.
Oh,
And
yeah.
this book is just awesome, man.
It is.
Holy cow, that cover.
Right?
I mean, it didn't really have much to do with the inside except in like the loosest of ways, but that backdrop of the shattering stained glass with Nightfall Azrael chained to it. Oh dude, that was so cool.
I just realized Asbats is in the background. I didn't even catch that until just now. That looks, oh my god, that's so much better than I thought.
Right? Azrael Batman has a great design to him.
Yeah.
Father Valley's backstory is the adopted brother of Jean-Paul Valley. That's cool as shit. Both
It
sent
is.
away.
Mm.
I mean, it's funny that they were both sent away from the order to protect them, and then they go out and they're both, in a way, like the order's best weapons or whatever you would like to say, best soldiers.
Yeah.
I guess that plan didn't work out. So it looks like Valley's dad was the original Azrael. Did you guys catch that?
Yeah.
His costume looks cooler, though, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that costume a lot. But it's very similar to the one Jean-Paul Valley wore, I think.
It's very similar. It's
Yeah.
just got some color changes. But
Mhm.
we had suspicions of him being related to Azrael when he first showed up. And knowing who this cat is, pun completely intended, it makes me want to read about him even more.
Oh, yeah.
The art was fantastic, cover to cover, man. Backgrounds, light, palette, everything was spot on. Some of the faces were a bit off, including the wolves in a panel or two. All in all, though, man, this definitely takes away an 8.75 out of 10 for me.
Oh, yeah. I can even add on the lettering I thought was fantastic. The sound effects they do, there's a bit at the end where a sword drops and in the shadow is the clang sound. It was just blew me away. I loved it.
Mm.
This was an 8 out of 10 for me. Everything was good.
Yeah, no, this issue is like really cool as hell, and like just an awesome backstory for Father Valley, who's definitely been a character that I've wanted to know more about. So I gave this one an 8 out of 10 too. Awesome artwork, cool story, just really doing some great stuff in the world of Catwoman and beyond. But next we'll be moving on to Teen Titans Academy Yearbook number 1. This is technically our other annual for this week, but it's a bit different. So I'll let Josh tell us what to expect from this one, or rather what we got.
All right. So the first thing that I want to mention about this book is the very first page. It's supposed to mimic the first page of a yearbook, and that's exactly what it does. It looks like the first page of any yearbook, that has superheroes in it. But I wanted to point out something that it brings up, that the show choir's original production of the Judas Contract on ice. I thought that shit was hilarious, man.
That's awesome.
So this is pretty much an anthology issue, so they'll be quick to fit them all in. Every story is written by Tim Sheridan, and every lettering is Rob Lee. I'll list the artists as the stories come. In Class President, the first one, art is brought to us by Bernard Chang and Marcelo Mialo. This is the story about Stitch. Stitch is an animated ragdoll. They have feelings, dreams, emotions, but Stitch can't have actual dreams or even eat. It's Stitch is made of basically 100% pure cotton, or some kind of poly blend. In any case, This is a story about how Stitch never felt like they fit in, and through the story they realize that it's actually being different that helps them fit in with all the other students at the Titans Academy. And I didn't know this, but apparently the sorcerer that made Stitch is none other than Dr. Fate. Now, this seems out of character for Khalid, but the way he speaks about faith, that simply cannot be Ken. So I can't figure out which Dr. Fate. Jesus. I can't figure out which Dr. Fate this is supposed to be. I like this character. I thought the art was great all the way through, but I wasn't sure. Could you guys figure out what Dr. Fate that was supposed to be?
I figured it was just Nabu took over.
Yeah, or
just
Kent maybe.
I don't know. I've never really. Isn't Kent more of like science and then Nabu?
I don't remember too well, but I mean, I guess it's, I don't know. I wasn't sure. Like, it kind of looked more like the Kent Nelson Dr. Fate costume, because the Khalid Masur costume is a bit different. So
yeah. Well, all right. Next up is 5 More Minutes with art from Marco Santucci and Michael DeTea. This is such a minor, quick story about Raven enjoying a little time with Garfield, doing her best to push past the vision that she's had of a merged Beast Boy and Cyborg, like we saw in Future State. That's pretty much the whole story, but it does serve to remind us that this is going to happen. The coloring in this book is perfect. I love it so much. Most of the inks are great, but there are some misses for me, and I love a little love time between Beast Boy and Raven. What do you guys think about the almost certainty that they're going to be merging Beast Boy and Cyborg? How do you feel about that?
I think it's interesting of an idea, but I'm not thrilled about it because I love both characters by themselves.
yeah, I think it's pretty dumb.
Yeah, my brother is like raging. If you even bring it up, he's raging about it. Go back and listen to some episodes when we were covering Future State. Holy shit, was he upset. But that's about it for that story. I thought it was a pretty good one. Again, the art was really good. The next story is Mothers, Brothers, Kittens, and Cake. And yeah, that is a weird title, but it does fit the story. This time the art is handled by Darko Lafuente and Miguel Muerto. Matt Price is the focus of this one, and it seems as though he's a loner because that's what he knows. It comes out that he doesn't really have a family. It starts out with Matt sitting at practice and hearing Tubi yell from very far away for help, with his super hearing. Price flies there and finds a barn on fire. Tubi says Mama needs to get out, and there's some exchanges made about what kind of Superboy is he, because he doesn't have ice breath, and he's like, for the last time, I'm not a Superboy. But Matt and Tubi does save the day. Turns out Mama is a cat, and she's got kittens. They save those. And then after hearing about him growing up alone and not really having family, Tubi's family says now they are Matt's family too. The art in this one is a simpler form of animation. One I would usually say is for kids, but, well, this is for Titans. So, I mean, that works for me. And they do have a kid following, even though I wouldn't say that this particular book was for them. I can appreciate this art style. And truthfully, if we're going to have to see that kind of art style frequently, I wish young Diana was drawn like this. That would make young Diana a little more palatable.
Yeah, I'm sure.
With that.
Okay. The next story is Extrication, and its art team is made up from Rafa Sandoval, Jordi Tarragona, and Alex Sinclair. They're always working together and making good art. Set mostly 9 years ago, Red X busts up I'm not even sure what to call it, like kids being sold to be groomed as soldiers for Black Mask. I mean, I guess like revolutionary or guerrilla slavery or something along those lines.
Yeah, just child trafficking, I guess.
Child trafficking, there you go. Child trafficking with assault rifles.
Yeah.
So anyway, Red X does just that, and as the fight breaks out, he yells for everyone to run. One of the kids does not. The kid outright asks him if he's Robin, but he says no, he's the one who took the mask and made it real. Later, we see that he's offering the kid the Red X mask right before that kid heads into Titans Academy. And that kid's name is... We have no fucking clue. No one's identity is revealed at all, but I think it's fairly safe to say that the Red X is somebody with no powers.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Any ideas come to mind? Who are some not powered members of Teen Titans that are young enough to be that kid?
Well,
I guess they're all around the right age.
yeah.
Yeah.
Do we even know what city this was? That might make a difference.
I'm going to assume it's right there where Titans is or whatever, but I mean, they're from all over the place, so I don't think that matters.
Well, this black mask, I just kind of assumed it was Gotham.
Oh, that would make sense. Yeah. I don't know. They did a really good job of even hiding the gender with shaving the head and having them so young that it's hard to tell.
Mm.
So that even that just raises more mystery to it.
Yeah, no, I have no idea.
They're getting really good at keeping this shit a secret, man.
Yeah.
I gotta say, as far as like mysteries go and cliffhangers, DC has definitely amped it up a little bit. They've kept me interested for sure.
But now instead of just giving us one Red X to think about, they've given us two to have a mystery about. Like,
right. But yeah, so this was another great art performance. Everything looks great, and Tim Sheridan did really well with this yearbook. I had fun with it, even if most of it was completely unnecessary. We know Price is a decent dude. That's important. Stitch just wants friends and is a good person. We know that now, so that's important. Those are two people that I would take off the list, mostly because Price has superpowers. But that's about it, other than the backstory for a character that we don't know yet. So I had to give this a 7.75. Fun times, relates to the big picture, but it's really nice to look at, but it's still not something that is a must read. If it had tied in more, this definitely would have got a higher score.
yeah. This was a 7 out of 10 for me. It was enjoyable at times, but yeah, it was good to see some individual character stories, but I just felt like timing wise it might have been a weird book because we're only 4 or 5 issues into TTA and we barely even scratched the surface of the whole year.
Yeah, it feels like
sounds like the perfect time for an annual.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. A few things I'm noticing though, I just want to bring up throughout the book. Matt Price, I can totally believe he's not a Kryptonian because he's from Daxam. He's a Daxamite.
Yeah,
You
that's
think so?
possible.
Oh, I definitely think so. He might even be related to Sodam Yat.
Oh,
knows?
damn.
Because that's like
parents.
the only other, as far as I remember, the only other race in the DC universe that shares the same powers as Kryptonians.
Yeah. But, well, the only
There's
thing
a lot of
is...
Kryptonians right now.
Yeah, the only thing is Daxamites have that lead problem, so...
Yeah.
That'd be my only question, is that like how Matt is basically able to operate without, having like the lead problem.
That's very true.
But, yeah, I'm right there with you, Rob. I gave this one a 7 out of 10 too. It's fun, it's cute. I like the idea of it. The Teen Titans yearbook and focusing on characters, especially these newer characters. Like, you can kind of flesh them out a little more. But it's not really essential or anything. I can't say it's something that you need to pick up. It's just kind of like, if you're really interested in these characters and you want to learn more, you could probably pick it up. But if you're looking to advance the story of Red X or anything else, you probably don't really need to read this.
Yeah.
But it does look
we know
very
that.
nice.
Yeah. It looks really good. We know it's 2 generations away from Nightwing.
Mm-hmm.
Now there was in one
That's
of like
not
the between pages. If you guys noticed, there was a thing. It was just like an advertisement, they say, for a mobile app for All Star Squadron coming fall 2021. I think that's a advertisement for maybe a book or something.
That'd be cool.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
it'd be really cool.
I wonder
Yeah.
if that's like a tip. When did it say it was coming?
At fall 2021.
All-Star Squadron.
Yeah, still got time, so it's definitely possible.
Yeah.
They've been keeping a pretty tight lid on it.
Mm-hmm. Be a really weird place to reveal it, but I think that'd be pretty cool.
That would be pretty cool. Or,
Yeah.
You know, it's like an Easter egg. It's not really a reveal.
Yeah.
All right, should we move on to our last book for this week?
Yeah, we're already at the last book.
You're on the last
Crazy.
book.
So
Yep.
fast.
Short week, but closing out this short week of comics, we have our Green Arrow 80th anniversary 100-page super spectacular special that is so big and massive that not a single person can break it down by his or himself. So we have to work together to do it, and try we will. So let's get started. So how we're going to try and approach this is basically go through each story, give a quick little summary, not spend too much time, because if we did, we'd be here all day, and there are 12 stories. But
12. Expecting that.
yeah. And we'll give our final score at the end, kind of a cum score for all the stories. We're not going to rank them individually and give brief thoughts for each story. So to kick it off, we'll be starting with The Disappearing Bandit from Mariko Tamaki, with art and colors from Javier Rodriguez, and letters from And World Design. So to sum it up pretty quickly, this is essentially a great tribute to the Golden Age Green Arrow stories, as it follows Green Arrow and Speedy hunting down a mysterious new villain in Star City known as the Disappearing Bandit. They chase him throughout the issue, first at a bank and then later at a separate opportunity, before using some different arrows to trick the bandit and eventually capture him. The bandit is able to grab one of Green Arrow's arrows in the hopes that he can use it to parlay his way out of prison by selling it to another mob boss, who will be able to use it to find Green Arrow, only to find out that the arrow has completely disappeared. I mean, as a start off to the special, I thought this was a really great tribute to the old Green Arrow stories. I know those can seem a little corny, but I happen to love them. Like, I love all versions of Green Arrow, even the Golden Age and Silver Age versions, as corny as they can be. And I thought it captured the voice really well, and the art was beautiful, had some really great layouts, especially on that first page. So, I really dug it.
I can't stand when writers have people say chum.
Ugh, I love chum.
I can't.
Screw
stand
you.
it.
Batman
Such
says
a
chum.
golden age thing.
Batman
I know.
says it is a real golden age thing.
Yeah.
I get that, but okay, that's where everybody else left it, right? Green Arrow still says that shit once in a while. Why? Nobody
it's cute.
says chum. I mean, unless they're talking about...
I'm gonna start calling my friends chum just because of that.
There you go. Hello, chum.
Yeah,
There you go. Are you gonna adopt a British accent too?
I should.
You totally should.
No, I had someone say the same thing about sport, and for like 3 months, I just went around calling everyone sport.
You're awesome.
Yeah.
That's great.
So
This was a very fun story. I thought the art was really wild at first. Like that first page, you don't know where to look, but the deeper into it you get, like I appreciated it more, and it really brought up that golden age style.
yeah.
And I don't know about you guys, but I'm very quickly becoming a huge fan of Mariko Tamaki.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I kind of really only read her stuff like in the graphic novel capacity originally, but she's doing some really great stuff at DC.
Now, see, her Wonder Woman run. Which
Oh
is
yeah,
where
it was
I
kind of filler.
Oh man,
Yeah,
alive,
definitely
was
filler.
that bad? But that was where I got introduced to her at. Now, when I was reading that's when she released a tweet right when she started on that she said, in response to a rating, don't even get me out of bed for anything less than an 8. And I was like, where does this chick get off saying something like that? Because that was all that I had read.
Mhm.
Oh man. Ever since she shifted gears from Wonder Woman and has taken over from Future State and done all kinds of titles, Mariko Tamaki is the bomb.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you that 100%. Now, as far as this one goes, man, I mean, I love the campy Batman TV show. Can't take that away from it. It's where it is. And I appreciate the Golden Age comics, but I can't go back and read them right now. About the only ones that I can is when, towards the JSA type adventures and stuff. But the original characters solo, I can't even read those anymore.
Oof,
And I
really?
know a lot of people are going to say, dude.
Oh,
what's
wow.
wrong
Yeah,
with you?
no, I was actually going to say, I was like, I went back and, because DC's been doing a really great job of collecting some of that old stuff. And they have one of the, I think it's just called like the Superman, the Golden Age. Like, I don't know if it's the omnibus. It's like the big trade paperback that they put out. And I was like you, I was not expecting much, but it holds up surprisingly well. At least,
Really?
yeah. The original Action Comics stuff. It's like pretty,
I'll have to check it out.
pretty grounded,
All right.
and pretty interesting. I think. I mean, it's gonna have a bit dated dialogue, but that's par for
Well,
the course for something from 80 years ago. But
I completely understand that.
yeah.
How would you guys feel about a Green Arrow cartoon, but in this style, but like really up the campiness and make it like that Hanna-Barbera revitalization they did in the mid 2000s, like Harvey Birdman, Attorney at Law kind of thing.
Yeah, I was
Yes.
thinking like maybe like Brave and the Bold or something.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
something like
Hey.
that, but like more adult.
Yeah.
Have you guys watched Bird Girl yet?
Bird? No, I haven't. I don't even know what that is.
I just yeah, I
You
just
don't know what
I
that
don't
is?
even know idea
You
what
know-
that is.
Oh,
You know who Harvey Birdman Attorney at Law is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is his daughter.
Oh shit.
Oh, I didn't even know that existed.
No.
Yep. You are missing
Recent?
out if you have not watched it.
Oh god, I gotta find it tonight.
Mm. All right, next up we have Punching Evil. And Rob, tell us all about this one.
Will do. This is from Tom Taylor, art by Nicholas Scott, colors from Annette Kwok, and letters from Clayton Cowles. So Dinah has set Oliver up with some boxing lessons he does not think he needs. Ted Grant is his teacher, and it's a rough lesson.
Uh,
The weeks go on, and Ollie is slowly taking the punishment better. But he still believes he doesn't need the lessons because he's better at a distance. Hearing this, Ted snaps all of Ollie's arrows. Minutes later, Yellow Wasp blasts his way in and takes down Ted. Ollie, seeing not being able to... Wow. Hang on, I added a word I shouldn't have. Okay. Ollie not being able to fight due to Yellow Wasp flying around, he grabs a broken arrow and stabs a boxing glove to the end of it and lets it fly right to Yellow Wasp's face. Ted wakes up just in time to see the last blow and now sees the benefit in fighting from a distance. I love the boxing glove arrow.
yeah.
Yes.
This
Classic.
reminded me of a time when Arrow was on and good, and there was a big talk on the subreddit for a long time about trick arrows, and boxing glove arrow was one of the biggest things talked about. And back then, the
course.
writers and the EPs, they paid attention to people online, and they listened to the fans. And they had like an episode with Ted Grant there, and Oliver like stabbed a boxing glove and like shot it, and it was fucking brilliant. And this was just like it. Oh, it's so much fun.
Yeah, this is a super cool story. Great art, and I mean, I didn't read too much of Injustice, but from what I remember, Tom Taylor really nailed Green Arrow, and so
Yes, he did.
I think everyone's kind of always been wanting him to do something with Green Arrow, I feel like this was a tease because I totally would have taken like an entire issue of this because it was great. Like just one focused on the, Silver Age, Red Gloves, Green Arrow training with Ted Grant, and maybe meets up with the JLA. But yeah, it was just awesome. So I definitely dug it.
Hell yeah. I wanted Taylor for the longest time to do a Nightwing book and a Nightwing book and a Green Arrow book. I'm halfway there, man. I'm halfway there. Oh, yeah. It's the story of the boxing glove arrow. I think everybody kind of has a soft spot for that particular arrow. And if you don't, then there's something wrong with your inner child, man.
Oh yeah.
But it's a lot of fun for as quick as this is. The voices are great for everybody, except, again, I cringe every time any one of them talk like an old English gentleman. But I get used to it, though, so fun times with this one. Art from Scott is gorgeous. I have been... I rated each and every single one of these stories so I could figure out how to tally up my final score. I got about halfway through. So if I accidentally slip a score in there, forgive me.
All right, next one we've got Who Watches the Watchtower? Josh, take it away.
Written by Stephanie Phillips with art from Chris Moneyham and Mike Spicer with lettering from Tom Napolitano. This is a quick one about Green Arrow being pissed off that he's being put on babysitter duty guarding the watchtower while the rest of the team gets to go out and do a mission in space. He's kind of throwing a temper tantrum, which, again, I mean, that's kind of Green Arrow. As much as he complains he does stay at the base, out of nowhere, aliens show up. Lots of them. Ollie has no problem defeating them or their giant boss, but he does lose his arrow in the process, using some kind of cosmic one instead. Ollie acts all smug and says that things were boring when the team gets back and he's questioned if something happened by Superman, who notices a scorch mark on the wall. You guys think he's being smug here?
He's being very smug.
Okay, here's my thing, because that was my initial impression too. But what if he's not being smug? Right before the aliens appear, Ollie pushes a button and says, what does this do? Or something to that effect. It's possible that he let those things out of a cage. Then he wouldn't be smug. He'd be nervous as hell.
Possibly. I don't know. Yeah, I think it was... I think it was just, like, accidentally activated something, and, like, he was able to take it out and have his own fun adventure, and he's being smug about it because he's trying to act like nothing happened, because that's what GA does.
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah.
Regardless, this is the Green Arrow that I do like to read right here. Phillips can write me some Ollie anytime. I'd like to see her on a full arc, man. Almost gave a score.
and Chris Moneyham is great, man.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I only ever saw him do one creator-owned book from like Boom that I don't remember, and Nightwing, and it was during like the Rick Grayson stuff. He did a little bit of Nightwing before that, but I always felt like he was so wasted on that book because he's just such a great artist, and like I hope they keep him doing some more Green Arrow stuff because this looked great. But yeah, it was also really fun. I'm with Josh. Like, this is the Green Arrow I love. You know, he's mouthing off, he's complaining, he's fighting with Hawkman, but at the end of the day, he can get the job done and done well. And of course, he's smug as hell about it because that's who Green Arrow is. Like, he's someone who, when the chips are down, he can do the job, but he'll definitely rant about it and let you get an earful of it.
All right, so if my little brother, I just smacked my hand all over hell and back. He has this argument against Batman being better than Green Arrow, and he said that's why Green Arrow has such a bad fucking attitude. It's because everybody looks up to Batman, listens to Batman, follows Batman, but Green Arrow can do everything Batman does, and all it takes him is a bow and arrow.
Yeah, well, except I'd say strategize, because I mean, for as much as I love Ollie, like I'm not gonna sit here and pretend he's the smartest guy in the room, but
Oh no, he's not.
yeah, but yeah, no, I mean, you know, fight wise, Ollie's up there with the best of them, I think.
Oh yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, no, yeah. I don't think we were talking manhunter abilities here.
Oh yeah, no.
No.
Oh, Rob, did you share?
Yeah, I didn't have much to say, but yeah, I love this, and the art style was fantastic. It was just a fun story.
Mm.
It's a side of Green Arrow that I think was a fan favorite and definitely brought the character up really well in that era. And
Yeah.
the story really reflects it, I think.
Very cool. All right, next up we have just the usual sort of stuff brought to us by the legendary Mike Grell, who is both writer and artist. Colors from Loveland Kinzierski. Oh my god. And letters from Travis Lanham. This story follows Ollie teaming up with Shadow to take down some smugglers who are smuggling in what he believes to be some product from North Korea to act as some insurgency tools. Ollie and Shadow share, I guess, quips, but also some advice on what they believe can be done in Star City, and you know, all this other stuff about responsibility and that whole thing. And basically it's just kind of a story that shows how well they work together in this specific era.
I wish that Shadow was back with the multiverse being rebooted and on Team Arrow. Please.
That would be
Yeah, well, I think she is back, but yeah, I probably not connected to Team Arrow. I don't know what she's doing right now.
She should be.
Yeah. Although I don't know, I always feel like it was a little awkward when she was like, you know, around too much, because she and Ollie obviously have some, shall we say, erotic history, and that would make it a little bit, a little bit
Dude,
awkward
it
with
is
Dinah.
2021, the dawn of the era of the thruple.
Oh God! I mean, Ollie's always been a swinger, but I don't know if he's ready to swing that hard just yet, or maybe he is.
I don't
I'll
know
have to
if
see.
Dinah would. I don't know if he's got enough balls to bring it up to her.
Yeah, but I had one major point, which was just, I mean, Mike Grell is so awesome. Like, it just like it's incredible that he's been working in the industry for like 30 years and his art style is still amazing. Maybe it's just me, but like I'm looking at the double page spread of Arrow and Shadow both like knocking their bows, and it's just, I mean, it looks just as good as anything from 1988 or even from Warlord in like 1981. It's amazing how much consistency this guy has after working in the industry for so long. But
I mean, think about it. He's done it for 30 years and he's never tried to step outside the box.
yeah,
But he's got his particular style and he sticks with it. And that's going to end up being Riley Rosmo too. Now, now I've seen shit. Don't well me. It's going to be Riley Rosmo too. Mike Grell sells a lot. Everybody loves Mike Grell. And like I said, you know, it's I wouldn't call Rosmo a legend, but it'll be along the same lines as, you know, he's stuck with his style. But in any case, I really think I've seen Grell do better.
Oh yeah, it's definitely not his best. It's just
No.
I think it's amazing how it's, even now it still is, you know, it still has like, what's the word? Dynamism? Is that even a word? Like, it still looks dynamic. It still looks, you know, pretty consistent. Because I mean,
Oh yeah,
you know,
for
you'll have
sure. I'm
yeah,
not
you'll
taking
have
that
some.
away from him.
Oh yeah, you'll have some artists that, you know, were amazing however many years ago, and then now it's just like they're kind of phoning it in.
Well, I mean, I don't know about phoning it in. It could be carpal tunnel.
Yeah, that too.
Oh shit! But I mean, this one was good, and like you know, if it wasn't obvious, I'm a big fan of Green Arrow and Shadow being on a team together. Give me more of that, man.
Yeah.
And the coloring, Grell's coloring was fantastic. It was the rest of it that I was kind of in just a few places.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it, and this is a guy that might know Green Arrow maybe better than anyone. There's a couple of people I could think of that probably would, but this is a fun story. Another great era from Green Arrow. That's what I'm loving about this book the most. I think it's just going through the eras and seeing all the memories of Green Arrow that you might have forgotten about, but some you definitely wouldn't have because they were so iconic.
Yeah, I was actually a point I was going to make at the end, which was just like, I think this book did a really great job of doing exactly what you just said, honoring almost every single era of Green Arrow. And we'll see that more as we get through it, but it's almost like each story here could...
this book, man.
Yeah, each story here could comfortably fit in any era of Green Arrow without any problems or hitches. It's just it's rare that you get something like that. But next up, we have The Arrow and the Song. Rob, take it away, my man.
First, let me add on to what you just said. We didn't see. This is not the first 80th anniversary issue that we've had, right?
Oh no, we've had plenty.
Right, and not a damn one of them has pulled it off quite as good as this.
Yeah, well, I guess we should save our full thoughts for the end, but I agree.
Well,
I think in terms of like Rob said,
the character.
Yeah, honoring the character in every iteration, like it did a great job.
Fantastic.
Yeah, but anyway, Arrow in the Song. Rob, take it away.
Right.
I sounded like a stage announcer for a second.
Arrow in the Song.
Arrow in the Song. Take it away.
Everyone, take your seats. So this one is from Ram V. Writing, featuring a poem from Henry Wadsworth Longfellow.
Yes,
this beautiful poem.
This was the very first poem that I ever memorized.
Oh
yeah, no, this is like every like sophomore year high school's poem project or something.
Yeah.
Brilliant. That was beautiful. Right, so art is from Christopher Mitten, colors by Ivan Placencia, and letters from Aditya Bidikar. So through the story, we go through a brief rundown of Ollie's origin as Green Arrow, to a few moments shared with Dinah, and finally to their shared home. Ollie then asks Dinah to marry him, but she jokingly says no. Getting deeper into this, she explains that they've been together longer than some marriages anyway, and they give each other everything they need, except one thing. We then see a little ways into the future, where Ollie and Dinah are camping with a group of kids, and one of them shoots Ollie in the head with a toy arrow, and he just laughs. Together, they are happy. Whether that one of them may be one of their kids, I don't know, but it certainly seemed like that's what they were alluding to.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
This is wonderful poem, great story, and honestly, I'm probably going to bring up the Arrow TV show a lot, but Dinah and Ollie belong together. Do you hear that, Mark Guggenheim? They belong together.
I know. Well, I don't even know it. Yeah,
yell at Greg Berlanti. Oh, he's the one that gets all that sappy shit.
Yeah, that whole team just gross.
Well, Guggenheim was executive producing. He was show running during the whole time when they killed off Dinah Lance.
Oh yeah,
the report says that was his idea.
Ugh.
Yeah, that was a dark time. But this was a beautiful story. The art I thought was really good. Colors were nice.
Yeah, this one actually, when I first read it, I was actually kind of disappointed. I didn't really like it at first. I felt like it kind of went over my head, and I wasn't really sure where it was trying to go. But I went back and I reread it. And I think that was really for me when it clicked, when I really started to pick up on the message of, the flight of the arrow and everything, and tying into the Longfellow poem. So I think if you're like me and you read it at first and you're kind of like, what's going on? I'd definitely say give it another shot, because it really is a beautiful, beautiful little story.
It really is, man, and I feel like it's pretty much just about like Oliver is the bow and arrow, and he's in love with Dinah, and we all talked about how pretty it was, even if it takes two read throughs. So let me just shout that out real quick. I shot an arrow into the air. It fell to earth, I knew not where, for so swiftly it flew, the sight could not follow in its flight. I breathed a song into the air. It fell to earth, I knew not where, for who has sight so keen and strong that it can follow the flight of a song? Long, long afterward, in an oak, I found the arrow still unbroke. And the song from beginning to end, I found again in the heart of a friend.
I realized we were doing poetry hour. Should I start snapping?
You start snapping. No, I don't do I do not do spoken word. I have listened to it. It was my favorite poem for a long time because it was the first poem I ever remembered. But no, I'm not about to light up a clove cigarette. This was beautiful, though, man. I loved it.
Yeah, absolutely. Next, we'll be going to 1, and I just want to say off the bat, this was probably, I think, my favorite story, which might seem surprising, but it was definitely a surprisingly enjoyable one. So, Josh, take it away, my man.
All right, this is 1 written by James Hetfield and Lars Ulrich. Kidding.
Oh, you wish.
Amazing.
I've been waiting this whole review to do that.
Oh my God, he had it in his back pocket.
Written by Brandon Thomas with art from Jorge Corona and Matthias Lopez and Steve Wands on lettering. This is Connor Hawke, and he has taken over for his father in Star City after Green Arrow had sacrificed himself to save the world. This is just following him through taking down one of the terrorists operating in the city. He's a really big one, physically, that is. And Hawke has just 1 arrow left. Throughout the story, he's comparing himself to his dad. And in this final situation, he says that he knows his dad can do this, but can he? Using a rebounding arrow, the last one in his quiver, he takes down the big guy little by little, picking him apart. So yeah, he is as good as his dad. So hell yeah, love me some Connor, love me some beautiful art. This for a quick little cool ass Connor Hawke story, this was badass, man.
Yeah, I would have taken a whole issue with this one too. It's just like great team, great art, and like I thought it was a killer ending too.
Yeah, it would have made a good one shot.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, the action I thought was fantastic.
All of it was really good.
Oh yeah. It really was.
It was not my favorite story, but
it was definitely up there for me.
Oh yeah.
It was in my top 4.
Yeah, I don't know. This one it really worked for me. Like I started reading it and it was like, I don't know. I was just sucked in. I was like, oh man. Like I got to the end and I was like surprised how fast I got there, which is a good sign because I was really into it. So anyway, next up we have Green Man and Autumn Sun. Rob, take the stage.
Gladly. This is from Devin Grayson writing with art and colors by Max Fiumara and letters from Ariana Maher. Lillian Harper can't sleep. The one thing that her babysitter Oliver tells Roy is the story of the Green Man and Autumn Sun. This story is a look through Roy's life, being adopted by Oliver and training to become Speedy. We see the darker times of his drug use and how he got help and came back into the light as Speedy once again. Roy gets home from his mission just in time to finish the story. He hugs Lian and admits that she's smarter than him. A fact we can see with her perspective on certain events and the good she can find in them, pointing out the love and respect Roy and Ollie have for each other. At the end is a paragraph about the storytelling tradition of the Navajo people, of which Roy Harper is one. I also implore you all to take the time to learn the stories of your country's native tribes. They have great things to tell, and they deserve our respect.
Agreed.
Definitely. Especially during this time.
And that's not just the United States, like so many people ignorantly believe. I mean, the First Nations up in Canada, the Ojibways, all of them were drastically.
Yeah.
I mean, it was literally genocide, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, so take a second, peek into that.
Absolutely.
Damn, this was so good.
Yeah,
Tips
for sure.
his hat heavily to his Navajo heritage, and I thought that was cool. But the premise is just showing, this is a book about Roy not being a dick.
Or not being lost.
Right, not being lost, not having some personal issues, but setting a good example for his kid, and This was awesome. This was easily my second favorite story
Mhm.
in this book.
Yeah, no, this was definitely my second favorite story after one, and I love some Roy Harper content, especially when he's being a good
yeah.
father. And I'd never been the biggest fan of Max Fiumara, but I thought he really did a great job here.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. I think for me,
sure.
it's
Like,
just the
I think-
eyes.
Yeah, sometimes his eyes and facial proportions could throw him, like he did a Black Hammer book with Dr. Starr, and like most of the anatomy was fine, but sometimes you look at the faces and they look like they're 87. But
Right.
yeah, but it seemed to work really well here.
Yeah, it did. It did. I liked it, and I would take this as a one shot too, for sure.
Yeah, all of these stories like could have worked as their own, like small little one and done one shot stories outside of an anthology, which is, I think that's good because it means they have kind of a great list of people that could easily, well, it's the ones that haven't already written Green Arrow, but a great list of people that could easily write for Green Arrow. But anyway, oh, sorry, what were you gonna say?
I was just agreeing.
Oh yeah. Yeah, but next up we have Star City Star. This is another writer-artist story brought to us by Phil Hester with inks from Andy Parks, colors from Trish Mulville, letters from Clem Robbins. This story is, in essence, a tale of Green Arrow attempting to rescue a girl who can, I think, like give off psychic projections or something like that. But in doing so, she really digs into Ollie's brain and digs out all these memories of characters from the 2000s Green Arrow era that were particularly important to Ollie in moments of his life.
Yeah.
Again, except Automatopoeia, he was just kind of a villain that he dealt with that one time. But we see him deal with Count Vertigo, with Green Lantern, with Dinah, Connor, and Roy, all sporting their 2000s outfits. And finally, towards the end, a confrontation with someone who is deeply personal to Ollie, the ever-forgotten Speedy of the 2000s, Mia Dearden. So yeah, just a really solid look through, again, another period of Green Arrow history that is important, and I think had a great presentation. And I know some aren't the biggest fans of Phil Hester, but I've always loved his stuff on Green Arrow, and I think it worked really well here, and I think he had a really great emotional story, so I dug it definitely.
You know I'm not a Phil Hester fan, but I have to agree, this looked good, man.
Yeah.
Other than that, though, I was like, what the hell? What is going on? Am I supposed to know who this is? What the shit? So I walked away confused as hell, but it looked good in the way that, I thought it was just like tipping its hat toward the basically Green Arrow's extended family and the things that he's been through and that.
Yeah.
But I thought it was kind of a weird way to do it.
Yeah, I think it's a story that like it really needs some context, because if you're not familiar with that era, and that's, I mean, like I like the Mike Grell story as well, but that's definitely kind of a problem I could see that one having too, where it's like if you don't know, its story would seem really weird because you're just like, who are all these people? What? But if you do, I would say that's why I'm like, it's a great tribute to that era, because if you're familiar with it, it definitely kind of works. But I can see if you're not, too familiar, it can be a little confusing.
I still don't know who the hell Star is, but yeah.
Oh yeah, I think that's a new character.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's just odd. But anyway, I mean, it was good, and like I said, if I'm saying Phil Hester looks good, then damn it looks good.
Yeah.
I also love Phil Hester's art. It's cartoony, but in a very good way.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's probably what I like most about it. Like, you get cartoony art, but this one takes it to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was a fantastic story. I kind of miss this era of Green Arrow.
Yeah.
Most, maybe. I would love to see, especially with this character, I'd love to see more.
Yeah, I hope so.
2000s era of Green Arrow, yeah, that would be cool to bring back, man.
Yeah, well, I mean, really just, poor Mia Dearden. No one knows where she is, if she even exists anymore, which is kind of sad, but
if Roy came back, then Mia should come back.
I think
that's
so.
the end of the story.
Actually, I'll take it a step further. If Connor can come back, Mia can definitely come back.
There you go. Exactly.
But
Hey, Roy's a Black Lantern now.
yeah,
yeah,
they
but
do have
Connor
the
came
ability
back.
to raise the
Connor's
dead.
not a Black Lantern.
No,
Yeah, well-
he came back himself.
yeah. Well, I mean, I don't think
Roy
Mia
could
was.
bring
was-
her back, maybe.
Yeah, I don't think Mia
Oh,
was.
hey.
I don't think Mia was dead. I just literally she was just wiped from continuity. So whether she exists anymore is anyone's guess. But
Bye, Felicia.
we'll see. Yeah. But next up we have Happy Anniversary. Rob, you're up again.
All right. This one is from Vita Ayala with art by Laura Braga, colors from Adriano Lucas, and letters by Becca Carey. It's Ollie and Dinah's anniversary, and for the occasion, Ollie prepared a little surprise for her. As he leaves to go get cheese for their dinner, Dinah sees a note he left telling her to come outside and be ready for action. She looks outside to see Ollie being taken. She assumes this is the surprise and gets ready for combat and fun. She tracks them to a barn, but gets caught in an explosion. As she gets up, she sees Deathstroke holding Ollie hostage. Ollie then reveals that her surprise was tickets to a Kung Fu movie marathon. This is not it. Together, they take down Deathstroke, but he escapes, and they race off to track them down and save the night. This was adorable. This was
Yeah.
really cute.
Oh,
The
yeah.
art was great. It's such a fun story.
It was, and tell me, I mean, that does seem like the ideal way for Arrow and Canary to spend their anniversary.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, hunting assassins, a perfectly normal thing to do on your anniversary. If you're a superhero.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah.
If you are a couple who gets, who happen to rock leather and fishnets every day, yeah, that's saying something right there.
Yeah.
Chasing down some assassins should be good for you.
Yeah.
I liked it, and the art was good, man. The coloring was good. Just fine by me. This was a good one.
Yeah, great
This and
story.
Deathstroke's dialogue, where he just goes, "I cannot overstate how much I loathe the both of you."
That was cool.
That was funny.
That was good.
And it looked good.
Yeah. Next up, we have The Sympathy of the Woods. And I gotta admit, I was a little jealous I didn't get to do this one, because I was a big fan of before we even get into the story, I was a big fan of the Rebirth Green Arrow, and seeing that team back together was very nostalgic, even though it was only like 4 years ago, but even still. Take it away, Josh.
First, let me start by saying that if we could have a Rebirth team a team come back together and had to choose it, it would be the Rebirth one plus Shadow.
Yeah. and Mia.
And Mia would be great too. Yes, but The Sympathy of the Woods was written by Benjamin Percy with art from Otto Schmidt and lettering from Blambot's Nate Picos. So there's not really anything of importance that happens on these pages, but it very poetically, and that seems to be a theme going on in this book, it tells us about how close the Arrow family is from this era.
Yeah.
It does so by describing the way the ecosystem of forest works, sharing, communicating, because the plants all know what's going on around them. Now that is actually true. There's been studies that saw reactive measurements from plants that had their seedlings removed, and another that showed that a tree will direct and share nutrients with only their offspring, even in a setting as dense as a forest where the saplings are all mixed together. Which, by the way, is my complete and total argument against vegetarianism.
Oof.
This was drawn and colored so well, man. With one exception, and it has to be an accident, but on the first and last page, Ollie and Dinah have white hair, and in between it's blonde.
Yeah, I assume that was like maybe they're trying to like show how it reflects in the sun or something, but yeah, it did look a little weird.
It looked way paler than the rest of the book, but
Yeah.
I mean that was like literally the only thing I could come up with in this one.
Yeah.
I just appreciate that Percy and Schmidt, like you said, Brandon, it was only like 4 years ago, but they never lost the connection they had.
Yeah.
Nope.
This
Nope,
felt
they
like
did
just
it
the
great.
next issue in Rebirth.
Yeah, and again, that was the point I made earlier where like all of these stories, I think especially this one, feel like they could have fit so comfortably in that era. Like if you had told me that this was, from a, I don't know, like a DC special in 2017, I totally would have believed you, because it feels like it could have come from 4 years ago. And I don't even mean that in a bad way. That's like the biggest compliment you can give, because it means that, like Rob said, they are so comfortable with these characters, they can just come back in, tell a story, and it's like they never left.
Were they the creative team on the book when it ended? I think the creative team changed like the last 10 issues or something like that.
Yeah, it was like alternating artists, so I think they had a different one for like the last couple issues, but yeah, Otto Schmidt did a good chunk of it.
Because that story didn't end either. They kind of left that on a cliffhanger because the book got canceled.
Yeah, well, Ben Percy actually did end his run, but then they kind of had a revolving door of writers, and then the book got canceled before they could resolve like the plot with Ollie having the secret box that could take down the Justice League, and I don't even know, like they just never answered that because, like I said, the book got canceled, so Bendis could do Event Leviathan, and we all know how that went.
Yeah, it would have been great for me if Ollie if he opened the box, there was nothing in it, and then it's just like the real Justice League threat is the friends you make along the way. It's you. You're the person that can take down Justice League. But then the box lit up.
Yeah, and it was like, what? Gross. And we'll never know what it was.
We'll never know.
Nope. Ain't that a bitch?
Yeah, next we'll move to the last Green Arrow story and the penultimate short story in this 80th anniversary special, and that is from Jeff Lemire, with art from Andrea Sorrentino, colors from Jordi Belair, and letters from Rob Lee. This is a story that features an elderly, aged, very grumpy Oliver Queen returning to the island for one final hunt. He's looking for someone, but he's not sure where that person is, can't seem to find them, even though he's hunting all over the island, until he realizes at the end that everything is a circle, and out of the shadows steps, I think, a young Oliver Queen, who hands the older Ollie the mysterious green arrow from Lemire's New 52 Green Run, which both allows Ollie to, I guess, get his final piece, but also ascend in a way, in a very spiritual, very hippie story that gives Green Arrow a peace of mind. I thought this was a cool one. I think it definitely has a kind of an ambiguous end, and it'll be interesting to see how people interpret it, but my interpretation, at least, was just it's kind of Ollie finding his peace at the end of his life. Like, he's going on a hunt. The hunt ends with him meeting a younger version of himself and just kind of saying, like, it's over for me. Like, I'm done. I'm moving on. And that's why he kind of, I don't know, lights himself on fire or is on fire or whatever it is, and, like, passes on or something like that. And, yeah, it's a cool one.
I want a 6-issue mini of this story
yeah.
From Lemire.
I actually, it's so funny that you said that, because literally I actually hadn't gotten the chance to read their Green Arrow run, Lemire and Sorrentino, until last year, because I'd started reading Gideon Falls, which is another book that they did. I was like, I didn't realize they did Green Arrow, and I read it, and in the end of that run, they did a one-shot that tied into Future's End, and it featured an older version of Oliver Queen, much like this one. And I was like, it would be so great if they had like an Old Man Ollie series, because they had over at Marvel an Old Man Hawkeye series. And I was like, why don't you just put these two together and just have like, an Old Man Green Arrow story, and he's like super grumpy, and he's on like one last mission or whatever. And so it's good that we're both thinking that, because I think that would be a super fun series.
It would be a super fun series, but I think it would definitely have to be a cap on it. And let me tell you why. A 6-issue is like what I'm hoping for, because I don't expect things going my way on this one. But I think it would work better if it was a 12-issue, like a year-long run. In any case, I feel like this was Green Arrow putting himself to bed of his own volition, and it's because even at his old age, he'd been hunting for so long, he didn't really know how to stop. So this was basically him going to the island and to chase away all of his old ghosts.
Yeah.
So, like you said, find himself at peace, and him being handed that magic arrow or whatever you call it, basically was like him finding that moment of zen and saying, "Okay, it's time for me to go now," and he like just zened out.
Zened out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And send his spirit off in the flames, man. And I mean, I thought it was done really, really, really well.
Oh yeah.
And even if, like, I want that miniseries or that 12-issue run. I want that. I want that very ending on the last issue. I want that to be the end goal. I want to know what happens. I just want to know what happens all the way up to that too.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, it would. For the record, before Rob goes on, I want to give every listener out there a little bit. I know Brandon said penultimate, but just for the record, this is called The Last Green Arrow Story. It is not the last Green Arrow story in the book.
Yeah.
I mean, technically.
Yeah. It's
But we'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to that as we move on to our final story in the special. That is Tap, Tap, Tap. Rob, you're the last man on, so I'll let you close us out.
All right. Now, what a story to close out on. This is written by Larry O'Neill, the son of the legendary Dennis O'Neill.
Right.
With art by Jorge Fornes and colors by David Stewart. There is, I would say no lettering, but there's some lettering.
No dialogue.
No dialogue. I would go through it, but honestly, I feel everybody should just experience the story themselves. So I will say what we have here is the story of Dennis O'Neill's life, his rise to comics greatness through the years, and the stories he brought us, and it's just beautiful. I read it.
Yeah.
It shows him writing the comics. It shows him getting to see characters he influenced hit the big screen. I mean,
yeah,
it's cool.
It brought tears to my eyes every time I read it.
Yeah.
Honestly, I loved it.
Ends with a beautiful, beautiful scene of all of the, I guess, characters that he both helped write and reinvent, like Green Arrow, like The Question, like Superman, like Batman, and so many others, just kind of sending him off in a way, like they're there with him in spirit. So, like Rob said, it's a very, very touching story, and I'd be surprised if you didn't cry while reading it.
Oh. I fucking did, dude.
Yeah, I was so sad.
I'm shitting you. I cried like a goddamn baby. My wife was sitting there next to me, and I'm sitting there tilting because I had my head on. I'm sitting there tilting while I got fucking tears rolling down my face. Finally, I had to set that son of a bitch down, get up, and walk away. I came back in. I picked it back up. I didn't even get through a goddamn panel, and I had to set it back down again. I had to put it down twice to get through that damn book, man. And then I started crying again when Holly and I talked about it afterward. I made her read it. I was like, I'm sorry, man, this is fucked up. Denny O'Neill was one of my favorite comic creators, and I'm sure a lot of people say that. I mean, he wasn't just a great favorite comic creator. I mean, he was inspirational in so many different ways, touching so many different comics. And it was I don't even, this was probably the most, I don't even know. I don't think I've ever had something in a comic book evoke quite such an emotional response from me. Mm-hmm. I mean, sure, I've been I've been emotionally affected, but I've never made there's never been a comic book that made me cry like this. I mean, that said, this was Denny O'Neill, his real life, and simply the most touching, heartwarming tribute to anyone ever. Mm-hmm. For me, I've been reading comics since I was single digits, and I'm 42. I have finally seen the perfectly executed comic story.
Wow. Yeah, no, it was, like everyone said, an absolutely beautiful story. And I'd encourage listeners who maybe aren't as familiar with Denny O'Neill to go and check out both his work and his life. He's a monumental titan in the industry. You could literally spend a day going into everything that he touched. I mean, I could give a few highlights here, the ones that I always think about. I mean, there's so many different books that he wrote. Obviously, Green Lantern, Green Arrow, Question, Batman, Superman, Justice League of America. And that's just over at DC. He served as an editor at Marvel, was one of the people to bring in Frank Miller, served as the editor over at DC for a while, was one of the people to bring in that 2000s generation of writers like Devin Grayson and Greg Rucka and Alan Grant, and so many people that were so influential to the line for 15 years. And like I said, just an absolute titan, and never lost his love of comics. I mean, was literally, like, as of the year of his death, 2020, was still writing, stories and anthologies. So, yeah, like Rob said, just an absolutely legendary figure, and it's a great tribute to him. But with that being said, what were your final scores for this issue?
Like I said, I had to tally them all up, man. I had to figure out. I couldn't do it without doing that. But rounding everything up, adding everything up, all of these stories were really good. Even the ones where the art kind of wasn't for me, or the schlocky feel of the Disappearing Bandit, they were still done so faithfully to the era that they were supposed to represent. Mariko Tamaki could have very well been an original writer of Green Arrow in the Golden Age. She faithfully represented that. This entire book was filled all the way through with fantastic stories. And I don't know that I've ever said that about an anthology book. I gave this thing a 9.5 out of 10.
Wow.
A lot of that came from tap, tap, tap.
Yeah. How about you, Rob?
Yeah, I can definitely agree with that. This is also a 9.5 for me. This is a great book to have if you're a Green Arrow fan. Definitely pick this up if you haven't yet. There's so many memories and stories to love. It's just fantastic. And such a legendary character.
Yeah.
Even just on Dennis O'Neil, again, like, the rarest comic I have, probably the most expensive comic I own, was from Dennis O'Neil, and that was the Green Lantern, Green Arrow number 85, I think it was, maybe it was 86, with that legendary cover of My Ward is a Junkie, that one.
God. Yeah,
I picked that up at a Comic-Con. It's like, okay, no, I need to get this.
That's awesome. Lucky dude, man.
Yeah.
I saw this, no, I need to get this.
Yeah. The only issue that I have from that run, because I couldn't. There's no way I could afford some of those older issues. They're just too pricey. But I was able to score the first appearance of Jon Stewart at a con. I was able to talk the guy down to nice. I think $25.
Wow!
Yeah, which was. I that's the thing about going to cons. You really got to know how to. I'm sure you guys know, but you really got to know how to haggle. Just to get
once
it.
or twice.
But
I even had to bring the price down a couple hundred before I could get something I could afford. But
yeah,
it's basically like going to the flea market where none of it's junk.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But I love this issue too. Such a great tribute to Green Arrow, and I mean, here's to 80 more years of great Green Arrow stories when they can get him a new solo title. And I think if there's anything to say about this anthology besides the stories that were all great, it's that Green Arrow desperately needs another book for himself, please.
Absolutely.
That we can all enjoy forever and ever. But I gave this one a 9 out of 10. I was very, very satisfied.
How could you not be? Now, given that we've only got 4 books this week, I don't think it's fair that we call it a stinker.
Yeah.
When it's 5, one has to lose out. There's one going over the other, and I feel justified in that. But when there's only 4, I feel like maybe we shouldn't do that. So should we do our top 4 this week?
Sure. Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Mine, number 4 coming in is Teen Titans Academy Yearbook. It lands here only because the other ones are so much better. I didn't mind this one. It was just, it was ultimately unnecessary. Number 3 was Infinite Frontier. Dude, let's get nuts and see where this goes. And number 2 was Catwoman. I'm really curious if Azrael will appear. How will the brothers see each other? Will they be friend or foe? So, I mean, Rom V, I'll be getting some Catwoman for a very long time.
Yeah.
And number 1 is Green Arrow, man. The best books are the ones that make you connect with the character, get invested, make you feel something. And I know that this technically isn't a superhero book. It's an anthology towards, it's just like we've said 100 times already. It's dedications, a tribute to who he was through every era of Green Arrow. But who cares? It was amazing, man.
Yeah, my top 4 pretty much the same as yours. I mean, I had Teen Titans Academy Yearbook at 4. It's a fine issue. Like, it's again not essential in any way. It's kind of fun and it serves a purpose. At 3, I had Catwoman. I'm definitely interested to see where this whole Father Valley, Order of Saint Dumas, all that stuff is going, and I'm really curious to find out more. Number 2, I had the Infinite Frontier Secret Files. Number 6, I just thought it was a really strong end to this, I guess, little series, even though it will be all collected in one. Actually, no, it already has been collected in
that came out this week.
Yeah, in the Infinite Frontier Secret Files one shot, which.
Yep. So if you haven't gone out and bought the $1.99 issues as it came out, if you do want to get a look at it, hold it in your hands, you can actually get it for, I believe it's $9.99, so you're saving $2. But it's kind of weird because there's no transitions.
Yeah, that being oh my god, I almost forgot about that. So I guess to go on a little tangent about the Infinite Frontier Secret Files physical release. So, like Josh said, all 6 issues from Comixology or the digital or whatever have been released into one 80-page giant. And for as much as I loved these stories each week that we got them, I have to say that I was incredibly disappointed by DC's collection and presentation of this. For one, it's published in prestige format, and yet there are ads littered throughout the entire thing. That really sucked. There are no transitions between characters, so this is supposed to be like one kind of cohesive story of Bones listening to these tapes, and it feels so like there are no transitions. So you literally just go from a story focusing on Roy Harper to bam, suddenly it's Jade and Obsidian. It's just
right. You could have made that transition with an extra page.
Yeah,
you could have put in a divider page.
Yeah, and then the thing that this is me just kind of bitching about nothing, but the thing that I just felt was really lazy was, they have the cliffhanger, sentence that says next you've got this and this, and that's fine for the individual stories, but when you have it in a full collection, it really doesn't do to leave that in there when you literally have the next story right after it. So there's no cliffhanger because you can just follow the story. So having next Jade and Obsidian, it's why is it still there? There is no suspense. Yeah, there is no
second
suspense.
It takes to turn the page. You're like, what will happen?
Yeah, well, the weirdest thing is there is no page turn for that one. It's the millisecond I will take to read Jade and Obsidian, and then my brother is a kind shadow. It's it just, but yeah. So in all honesty, if you want the physical release, if that's something that you prefer, you can go pick it up. But I honestly think you'd be better served just having it in digital. I think it's presented much better, but that's just my personal opinion. But anyway, so yeah, I had the Infinite Frontier Secret Files number 6 at number 2, and of course, Green Arrow 80th Anniversary at number 1. Such a great tribute to Green Arrow. Absolutely loved it. And I just had a great time. But Rob, what about you?
Now, mine is very similar. I had the TTA Yearbook at number 4. Yeah, it just felt out of place timing-wise. It was an enjoyable book, but I think it would have been better served maybe later on in the year.
Yeah.
After an
Like,
actual
say
year.
your book.
Yeah, during
Yeah.
Christmas or something.
Mm,
Yeah.
Or maybe wait till next year, June, when the people are graduating.
yeah.
Yeah. You know? Number 3, I had Catwoman Annual. That was just an exciting story. I loved seeing Father Valley's backstory. I came into the character when I started on here, and from what I understand, he was an existing character prior to
Father Valley?
Yeah.
No, I think we met him
Like,
for the
just-
first
just
time here, if I'm
Like,
not mistaken.
Well, yeah, during this run, but I mean prior to Future State. From what I was reading, he was in issues before, like last
Oh,
year.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I wasn't reading Catwoman then, so
Mhm.
this version of with Infinite Frontier Catwoman, this Father Valley is brand new to me, and I think he's a fantastic character.
Mhm.
And number 2, I had Secret Files. Like you guys said, strong finish. It kind of sucks that we already saw what happens next in Infinite Frontier number 1, but it's still exciting. It's still good to see
Mhm.
what happens, and it's got me so pumped. And number 1, of course, Green Arrow 80th Anniversary. You guys said it all. It's just a fantastic book to have.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
All right. How about some favorite moments?
Whew. I don't even know. It'd have to be.
Come on.
I
We
had
had a
one.
really easy podcast this week, guys.
Yeah.
I'd pick one from the Green Arrow 80th Anniversary, but there's so many great moments.
Yeah.
The one I did pick overall was the one that it's the spoiler that we decided not to mention.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So I will not mention it, but that is definitely probably my favorite moment. Just the way it was laid out. It was so simple, but it was so dooming.
Mm-hmm.
It was great.
Runaway Bad Guy. Next on Fox.
That would totally be a show on Fox.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it's hard
by
to
cops.
it's hard to pick a moment from Green Arrow, but if I really had to, I'd probably go with the splash page from 1, which is just Connor firing off arrows, and it was just drawn so well and presented so well, and such a cool story, and yeah, it was just I think I'd have to go with that one, even though they're just it's really hard to just narrow it down to one, because like Rob said, there's so many great standout moments in this anthology.
I think it may be pretty obvious that mine was Tap Tap Tap. Jesus. I mean, again, dude. I mean, I've had y'all have heard me get angry before. At comic books,
No,
but I've-
never.
I've had lots of yeah. I've had lots of ones, make me happy, crack a smile, laugh a little bit at a joke. But I mean, to hit me like that, it's never happened. I doubt it's ever gonna again. That was beyond amazing, man.
Mhm.
That's it.
Wonderful.
I thought so.
Yeah. And that's the show. We hope you had fun. We definitely did. Come back next week for more DC Comics talk, when we'll be reviewing Suicide Squad number 5, Crush and Lobo number 2, Crime Syndicate number 5, Justice League 64, The Conjuring, The Lover number 2, Batman Secret Files, The Signal number 1, Action Comics Annual number 1, Batman 110, Green Lantern number 4, Wonder Girl number 2, Swamp Thing number 5, and Nice House on the Lake number 2. We'll be here talking comics, as there are oh so many, and we hope you'll stop by. Remember to go to notarobotpodcast.com for all of our episodes and our other shows with all sorts of people. With that, there's only one way that we say goodbye around here. Until next time.
Be good to each other.
And don't be a robot.
Thank you. Nice shots